Uncle C, back in the office, and in today's video I'm going to be describing the number one thing that all women cannot resist in a man. Now, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Zander. Okay, I make these videos solely because I know what it's like to be weak, to be very broke, and to be a loser with a terrible dating life. And with that said, I managed to get jacked, make millions of dollars in business, and basically have everything that I've ever wanted. So if a nerd like me can do that, hopefully I can do that for you too, but a hell of a lot quicker than the issues that it took me to actually get there. So if you are part of Headman Nation, I want you to like this video, subscribe to the channel right now so you can join me on this journey, and that way I can help serve you to the fullest. Let's dive into the meat and beans of today's topic. Now, to preface this video, what I need everybody to do is, I need you to do one thing. I need you to cut me a little bit of slack because I'm entering a new chapter in my life. And the chapter of life that I'm actually entering into is like the lived experience that I've had as I've became older, I've become wiser, I've matured. I've had certain life experiences and I've accomplished certain things that even a lot of 40, 50, 60-year-old guys haven't done. And since I've done that, I can serve you at a level through actually sharing my real life stories with you. And it's a different format for me. So if I seem a little rusty, it's because I've never really explained my life before in this circumstance. So just fair warning, I'm trying my best. What I need you to do in the beginning of this video right now is I need you to scrap everything you have ever learned about dating and about women. I need you to scrap every red pill book. I need you to scrap every single influencer video you've ever seen. Okay, I need you to do all of that stuff. And the reason being is because there's a big difference between reading things and studying a bunch of concepts and actually being inside of the game, living life, dating women. Okay? With that said, I have dated women, young and broke. Okay? I've had sex with women when I was young and broke. I've also dated women when I got my shit together and made millions of dollars in business. I'm trying to tell you these things because I've lived both ends of the spectrum. The number one thing that women cannot resist in a man is going to be a man's relentless drive and ambition. I am living proof of this. The women that come into my life never want to exit. I can show you proof later on with some of the things I can show you and stuff, but you have to hear me out for a second. Okay, a man's relentless drive to crush it in life, you have to understand just how rare that is. Right now, we live in a society where all guys, all they want to do is sit on their ass and smoke weed. They want to just go to the bar and bar hop. They want to go play NHL on Xbox. They want to do all of these things. It's very hard to find an authentic masculine man who's crafting himself into a professional or a gentleman or somebody of value who's strong and stoic in the areas that they're actually looking for. And God damn it, I don't care how pretty or how beautiful she is, the second that she finds it, she does not want to let that go. I will show you these things in a bit, but first I have to tell you this story, okay? I myself have always had a lot of relentless drive. I don't know if I was just born that way. I don't know if I'm an anomaly. I don't know if I'm wired different in the head, but my whole life I have always wanted to be successful, ever since probably about age 16. Like 16, 17 years old, I'm watching like $1 Million Listing, right, on E, like $1 Million Listing New York, $1 Million Listing LA. And I thought that this was so cool, right? I thought it was so cool watching these guys sell these high-end luxury homes, right? Getting these huge commission checks. So like I'm 18, okay, I go and I get my real estate license here in North Dakota. I was one of the youngest real estate agents to ever come out of North Dakota. And I start selling residential homes at that age. So at that age, I'm already used to like working for myself, right? I'm already getting commission checks. I'm already selling homes. Right, there was like a land deal that I closed at like 18 years old. I got my first check for like 20-some thousand bucks. I made that in one day after selling that. So I got used to like doing these things and moving quick and hustling and being like a grinder. Notice, I'm not focusing on women. My success with women did not come from focusing on dating. My success with women came from focusing in on entrepreneurship, developing my life success, and having rock solid stability and confidence in who I am through that. You have to understand how different this is. I didn't care if I got laid or not. I wanted to make cash. I wanted to actually build something of value. I wanted to get out there and I wanted to live a good life. I tell all of you this because I fundamentally believe that it is the rooted key in attracting and keeping the type of women that you want, because when they come into your life, when they get a taste of who you are, not only do they fall in love with your personality and your ambition, but they know that you are on the roadmap to success. And when they see success as snowball for yourself, they know that you are hard to replicate. Every Joe Blow out there has a job. Every Joe Blow out there works for somebody else and hates their life. Every Joe Blow out there is not on some path to acquire success, wealth, or resources for themselves. Every Joe Blow out there is smoking, drinking, eating bad food, not living the life that they want, and just sitting back sedated, hoping that they can occasionally get some quick party sex. Then they fall in love and they wonder why the girl pulls back. I'm telling you this so that way you know that I have fundamentally lived different in every way, and that's how I got to where I am today. So I'm sharing you this story so you can actually hopefully get on the same or similar trajectory as myself. So I personally believe a lot of this drive came from me watching my father. Okay, my father's a very big man. He's 230 pounds. He's strong. He could still to this day kick the shit out of me. Like, if I can find it, I'll even show you this video of me from a couple of years ago arm wrestling him. Dude completely slams me. Right now.
Right now.
3, 2, 1. Ready?
On stage, yeah.
Anyways, with that said, I watched his entire entrepreneur journey himself. Growing up, he was a mechanical engineer and he made okay money, but it was nothing great. Like, he probably made 50, 60 grand a year. At the time, it was enough to provide for all of us. I'm the oldest of 4. Okay, I have 3 other younger siblings, including Cole. You guys have seen Cole on this channel. Okay, and I watched his real estate career essentially take off, because what he was doing is he slowly started acquiring real estate, buying apartment buildings, and I watched that drive, I watched that hustle. It didn't matter for him if it was a Friday night, it didn't matter if it was a Sunday night, it didn't matter if it was a Saturday or a Monday. Like, the dude wanted to build something for himself. He exited his 9-to-5 on his own. He became self-sufficient and self-sustaining, and I watched his demeanor change when he fundamentally could generate cash for himself. Okay, I watched a man's journey actually start to snowball and start to level up, and I was extremely inspired by that. To this day, I'm very blessed that I actually came into that sort of household or that sort of family. So with that said, okay, when I started building my first brand then, after I exited selling real estate, and I was heavy into the fitness industry. Like, I loved watching guys like Matt Ogus. I'd watch guys like Steve Cook. Okay, back in the day, there's like Jeff Side, right? He's flexing at all these beach parties and stuff. And I got super big into bodybuilding. Okay, I started lifting weights, and the first business I started, it was called CZ Fitness. To this day, the website still exists. It's CaseyZanderHealth.com. I keep all those 400 or 500 blogs up just for pure clout purposes to show that I actually did that in an industry. But I started generating like cash for myself. I started to become self-sufficient quickly. I moved the sales skills I learned from real estate. I was able to now transition into this niche after I built some skills for myself. And I started to transform people's lives with that. Now, you might be wondering, where does women come into this play? How does this have anything to do with attracting women? Well, I'm going to show you. When you are on a mission to grow something or to build something, conversations with women are different as a driven man, okay? Because my success with women came from the fortification of my personality through entrepreneurship. When they see a guy obsessed with building, I'm talking obsessed in every way. Not only was I obsessed with making the money, but like, I wanted to build something for myself. You can apply this to anything. A man who's building something, that's a very masculine trait. Doesn't matter if you're building your own house. Doesn't matter if you're building a house. Doesn't matter if you're building a bridge. Doesn't matter if you're building a business. Like, when a woman sees a man building something, there is safety and there is security in that. And it's very hard for them not to get attached to that type of guy. And here's why. Entrepreneurship works on you as a man at the highest level. And I'm going to explain why. When you are an entrepreneur, and I'm not talking one of those people who just put some bullshit in their Instagram bio and then you call yourself an entrepreneur when really all you do is look up Gary V motivate and hustle videos. I'm talking you're actually doing things. You're acquiring customers, you're building products, you're doing things that people can come into. Here's a little hint for you. Every single red pill guy you follow actually does what I'm telling you. They just don't tell you that. What they tell you is they tell you all of the secret things that they can write on paper and sell in their books. But if you look at what they're doing, not what they're saying, they're writing the damn books, they're building something. Does this make sense? Anyways, entrepreneurship works on you at the highest level, because here's what happens. It turns you into a strong, stoic, motivated individual. You tell yourself, I cannot have drama in my life. Therefore, my business will go under because now I'm emotionally moved off center. You tell yourself, there will be no arguing because if I have to argue and have mental bandwidth for that, I am not going to be able to serve my customers at the highest level. You tell yourself, I don't have time for games with women. I don't have time to check on other people's emotional stability. I am my own mental point of focus. My success comes first. Think how strong and think how dominant that is for a second to live by. When you have that, that is frame. That is masculine frame. That is how I grew my masculine frame. That's how I became somewhat selfish and self-centered because I had to give back value to other people. I had to hone my skills first. I did not have time for drama. I don't have time for arguing. I don't have time going out to the bars getting wasted. I'm doing my shit. My success comes first. That's what I thought 24/7. That's what made me into who I am today, and that's how I've thought, worked, and operated for 8 years. You might say, Casey, you're different. Well, okay, you can change your mindset and live a little differently too, because I wasn't always like this. There's a time where I had to grow into this. When you operate like that, that's frame. And the woman sees this real quick. She says, hey, if I do argue with this man and start drama, I'm going to get nexted. He is not going to let me into his life. The women that I operate with today, they see what I'm doing and what I'm building. I have the conversation very clear. You bring any sort of drama, you bring any sort of arguments, you bring any sort of turmoil to my life, you don't add benefit as a good feminine woman, you will be exited that day. I don't have time for bullshit. The reason why these 99%ers, these low-value men get with these, have to keep studying how to date is because they're never actually crafting something for themselves as a man. You have to know how to live and how to operate as a man. You belong no business studying and learning female nature until you have learned how to make yourself a man of value. I personally believe that the quickest path to that for every single man is through entrepreneurship because that's how I did it. Nobody can take away the 500 blog posts from me from CZ Fitness. Nobody can take away any of that. Nobody can take away the first 300 YouTube videos that are not on this channel anymore when it came to fitness. Nobody can take away any of the things that I've done to build my internal systems. Nobody can take those 10,000 hours away from me. Because of that, it made me into a different person. You can even tell the way I speak, it probably is different from most of the other men that you hear. It's because I've done shit. You cannot start to get the type of women that you want until you've made yourself a man of value and actually done shit. So the frame that I'm operating in consistently is that it's my world, okay? It's my world. I'm building the things for me. If the right woman wants to come into that life and we have good chemistry, then great. Now, I'm gonna let you in on 2 secrets real quick to wrap this up. There's 2 tweets I wanna show you on my Twitter. Okay, they didn't go super viral, but I believe they're jam-packed with actual information you need. Okay, I put, women don't tell you what they're attracted to in fear of sounding shallow. The truth is that women like men with money the same way you like women with an hourglass figure. She's not a gold digger and you're not a pig. Stop trying to fight human nature. Women feel secure when they're around a man with money. Women get a sense of stability when they're around a man with money. Being able to provide for potentially her or future offspring is extremely attractive to women. I don't care who tells you it's beta or not. When she's dripping wet over you, you have to understand, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. This is rooted into her biology. Scrap the red pill shit for a second. Scrap the beta talk for a second. You need to get your shit together. Because when you have your shit together and a woman sees you have a successful world, it's a privilege for her to come into. You have to understand the certain amount of way she'll carry herself to actually fit that frame. It's extremely attractive and you now are a man of value. You now are coming from the power position and the leverage. That's the first I wanted to show you. The second thing, okay? Second tweet. I say, Casey, how do I start to live like this? How do I operate like this? Well, here's the second tweet I need to show you. I go, time doesn't actually exist. The mental arbitrary constraints people put on themselves between weekdays versus weekends is exactly why they don't succeed. This is so true. When I wake up, I don't care if it's a Monday, I don't care if it's a Sunday, I don't care if it's a Saturday, I don't care if it's a Friday or a Tuesday, I'm living my life. I took this video last night just to show you guys this. This is how I think and this is how I operate.
I know they say work in silence, but it's 11:15 on a Sunday and I'm grinding out because that's what it takes and not many people do it. So I'm just, I guess, documenting this not to show off, just to show it's really fucking hard to succeed. So you better put in the work.
That video that you just saw is because that's my mindset throughout my entire life. My mindset through my entire life is I am building my things because I'm obsessed with living. I'm obsessed with how far I can push it. I'm obsessed with where I want to go. I'm obsessed with building my dream lifestyle. I'm so obsessed with that, I don't have time to learn all this game bullshit. The girl's either bringing good feminine energy into my life and is a good companion, or she's not. And the second she's not, the second there's turmoil, the second there's not loyalty, I'm going to move on to the next one. The problem is these men who will oftentimes be in the 99%er frame, have nothing going for them, and they try to blame the women for acting irresponsibly when in actuality it's because they never had the frame set in their own life to say next, goodbye. They try to chase and pursue, even when bad behavior presents itself. That is not how you have to act. So let me know if you like this video. Like I said, guys, seriously, like I've never done this. Like, hey Cole, how many takes has this video taken me? 5. You can hear Cole in the other room. 5. It took me 5 takes. I'm not used to telling you guys how I actually live. I'm not used to this. I hope you like it. I hope you get inspiration out of it.